What's up, everybody? I just recently passed my commercial pilot check ride a couple days ago, and I'm super excited about it. So in this video, we're going to be covering everything to do with my commercial stage at ATP, including how long it took me to get this stage of my training done, the types of flights we were doing, my flight instructor, as well as my check ride, and then also what's coming next in the program. So if you're going to ATP or you're working on your commercial license, or you've just been following my journey, then definitely stick around. Okay, so first we'll talk about the timeline. So after I finished crew, I came home and I believe I started my commercial training on August 19th with a new instructor. So that was a Monday, and it took me about 2.5 weeks until September 5th to get endorsed to take my commercial check rides. We were literally flying like every single day. I was definitely not able to study a lot with just how much flying we were doing. And then we were also doing simulator sessions because in order to get your commercial pilot certificate, it requires 250 flight hours, and 50 of those can be from an approved simulator. So I think I had about like 40 or 45 hours in the simulator. And then at the time of my check ride, I believe I had like 220 actual hours in an airplane flying. So I got endorsed on Thursday, the 5th of September, and then I had to wait just under 3 weeks to take my check ride. So that I was actually super happy about. I mean, I'm actually curious I want to know in the comments what kind of flight school you're going to, if you're in flight school, and then how long you're having to wait for a check ride right now. Because I've heard of people having to wait for like 4 months or, even longer. And then I feel like at ATP, because it is such a big school and we have these DPEs that are just constantly coming and the ATP's bringing in imports, that's the longest I've had to wait right there. So yeah, it definitely is really expensive, but that is something that I definitely have appreciated or gotten lucky with. So if you're curious how long it took to go from my instrument check ride until passing my commercial check ride, it was about 7 weeks. I passed my instrument check ride on August 6th, and then I passed my commercial check ride just a few days ago, so I think on 24th or the 25th of September. Now, as far as this stage of training and the flight training we were actually doing, it was definitely super intense, but it was different than private and instrument because when you start school and you do your private and then you do instrument, they're both completely brand new to you, so you have no idea what's going on. But when you get to commercial, it's pretty much everything you already know. It's just making sure your knowledge is even better and more in depth. And then you're out there, you're still practicing steep turns, but now you're just doing it to 50 degrees, and then you're doing other maneuvers and then you're just doing short field landings, takeoffs, power off 180, all that. It's just really like honing in on your skills as a pilot, and it's stepping up and being a professional pilot. There's tighter standards and tolerances, and you're held to a higher level. But at that point, honestly, the maneuvers weren't super terrible. I went out there, and once you kind of learn what they are, they came pretty quickly. I felt like they weren't perfect, and I'm still not perfect at them, but it didn't seem extremely difficult to learn them compared to how it was in private. I felt like it was definitely a lot harder, which is understandable when you've never been in an airplane. But yeah, the schedule, we started and we were pretty much flying every single day, at least a 2-hour flight, and then a simulator session, and then I was also trying to study on the ground whenever I could. But we did our TAA training where you train in a plane with autopilot or a complex airplane, and you have to do 10 hours of TAA training. And I think we did 3 flights in one day and then 2 flights the next day or something like that. So you definitely crank through commercial just like everything else at ATP, but that's what I signed up for, and I'm glad that it's gone really quick so far. It's been about 6 months since I started the program, so things are definitely progressing at a good pace. Something else to mention, I did get a new instructor. So I had the same instructor for private and instrument because I requested to have him for instrument. At ATP, typically you'll get a new instructor for each phase at least, unless you request to keep your instructor for another stage, and that's not guaranteed. I requested mine from private pretty early on because I liked him, and then I was able to go with him in instrument, and then I got a new one for commercial, and he was great. I mean, we only spent 2 weeks together, and now as far as what comes up next in the program, I'm going to be starting my CFI training, so certified flight instructor, and this should be really quick as well. I start my Zoom classes next week, and we just do ground school online for like a week straight, all day, every day. and then you roll into the flight training. And I know ATP has changed their flight instructor program, so it's a little bit better than it used to be. So we'll see how that goes. I'm trying to make some content right now, so I have stuff to put out in a few weeks when I'm going to be super busy with that, and that way I can just focus on school as well and not this stuff. Now you're probably curious how my check ride went. So my check ride was originally supposed to be at 8 a.m. and then the night before I got a text and it was changed to 6 a.m. and I live an hour away from the training center, so I had to wake up at like 3:40, look over some things, get all my documents ready, and then drive up to the training center and then get everything ready. And then he showed up and he thought I was a multi-engine instructor check ride, so which is typically a lot quicker than a commercial single engine, he said. So he said we need to just be very quick and efficient with everything today. So he was just firing questions left and right very quick. And luckily, I felt like I knew my stuff for the most part. It was really nice being able to be endorsed for 3 weeks and not doing a ton of flying during that time, because then I was actually able to really pick up on my ground knowledge, because I was lacking. At the time I got endorsed, my ground knowledge was not awesome, but now it's a lot better than it used to be. So anyway, the ground portion went well. It was only like an hour, maybe hour and a half, and we were still able to cover a lot. Then after that, we went out and we did our flight, and he went straight to the plane, sat in it, and was just waiting for me to go to the bathroom pre-flight. He was ready to go. The flight was good. We went out, flew the first 2 points on our navlog, and then right after went straight into slow flight, turned left, and then we recovered, okay, full power, do a power on stall. And then we flew over, I think we did some maneuvers like accelerated stalls and stuff. And then we flew over to another airport, and we were about, I think, 5,000 feet above the ground. I can't remember. But yeah, then he pulled my power, simulated an engine failure. So I had to kind of circle down, make calls to the traffic pattern, or make calls to the traffic in the area. And so that was my power off 180. I kept going down, 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 entered in on a left downwind. And then I said he wanted me to put it on the 1,000 footers. I had practiced doing my power off 180, landing on the third stripe. I don't know why, that's just what I practiced most of the time. I had done a couple practice ones on the 1,000 footers. But anyway, he was adamant that I do it on the 1,000 footers. So luckily we came down and I hit my spot. And then after, he wanted to do a short field next. So we went around and I hit the short field as well. So yeah, I was super stoked about that. I was hoping to be able to do a soft field, then short field, then power off, so I could kind of warm up. But yeah, it's how it was, and I passed, so I'm super happy and thankful about that. But yeah, there's not that much more to it. I'm excited to move forward and just keep grinding and putting my head down. But yeah, if you have any questions or comments or videos you want me to make, definitely let me know, and I'll see you next video.